Welcome back. Acting Police Commissioner Milton Daisy continues to laud the flexibility, dedication and steadfastness being executed by members of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Daisy indicated that challenges have arisen, but the officers continue to perform their duties and prepare for the changes to operations presented by COVID-19. This after a number of opposition members highlighted that there were no restroom facilities at checkout points for the essential workers. Genevieve Gonzague has more in this report.
Acting Police Commissioner Milton Daisy has answered the concerns of Castries South MP Dr. Ernest Hilaire with regards to facilities made available to the police while they execute their duties at the various zoning checkpoints. He says accommodations were made for the officers, thus the placing of the checkpoints where they are. Daisy says there have been no complaints from the association relating to that matter.
From the starting, we had to look at the logistics and then what area that the checkpoints would be and so on, just in order that we accommodate even the officers who were there. What we did, the officers has a cooler with water, they have juice and so on, so that it would keep hydrating themselves and so on. Also, what we have at least six. You would have at least 6 officers at the checkpoint, so and a vehicle. So the officer who may want to relieve him or herself can make use of that vehicle to do it, because it is close to Bodley, is close to Dennery, to the station. What we have also done is to even bring it a little closer to the station now, so that it is easy access.
The acting commissioner says the operations of the zoning continue to improve as people become more compliant and mistakes on the part of the force are learned from.
It's a learning process. As things go on, then you learn from probably mistakes that may have been before and so on. But I believe right now at the zones, the officers, they are prepared, and then they have understood the need to be there, and it is going on smoothly.
Daisy says the Royal St. Lucia Police Force have not forgotten their protective duties and as such continue to balance the duties of ensuring the curfew is not broken and criminal activities are deterred and criminals pursued. He says persons with criminal intent should remember the curfew does not mean they may have free rein.
Officers at Babono may have gone on attending to persons who were out there without reason, and then that may have been one of the plans of the commander of the station. However, we try to balance it with that and prevention of crime, protecting persons' property and so on, and that is why you would see that 2 persons were arrested for breaking into a vehicle in Cap Estate area. So the police are out there. We are vigilant. We are trying as much as possible to ensure that we give total security in as much as COVID is taking a lot of the resources. We also do not forget the criminal aspect of it, because persons may use that as an opportunity to commit crime. If you are focusing on one thing, that they may think that if you do something else that you would not be caught. But I must commend the Gros-Islet Police again for that response.
The acting police commissioner says the force is prepared to change its operation to fit the situation as the dynamics of COVID-19 changes. He says in an effort to ensure that operations are at its maximum, officers will not be allowed and have agreed to not request leave except in cases of emergencies and family matters, as this is something the force takes seriously. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
The Royal St. Lucia Police Force has continued to exact justice to those who continue to break the emergency protocol curfew. Public Relations Officer of the RSLPF, Corporal Ann Joseph, revealed on Wednesday that police have arrested 26 individuals for curfew violations. Corporal Joseph went on to disclose that a total of 56 arrests have been made for the same reason. She says police have been working assiduously, not only with regard to enforcing COVID-19 protocols.
The police continued their regular functions, obviously, as we know, and 2 arrests were actually made in connection with firearm-related offenses during the week under review. On the 18th of April 2020, we actually had 1 individual charged. His name is Kurt Girard, and he was charged by officers attached to the Grizzly Police Station for possession of firearm and ammunition without a valid license, and this was after a search of his residence earlier that day. Produced a Glock 40 with 2 magazines and 6 rounds of ammunition. He is currently remanded in custody. A second male was actually arrested in the Bogus area. He was found in possession of a 9mm Taurus gun with 11 rounds of ammunition. He is currently in custody at the Babono Police Station, and the charges against him are pending. A third male, who was previously charged for breaching the curfew order, was actually arrested again in the Cap Estate area, this time for having broken into a motor vehicle in that area and making away with a quantity of cash and personal effects. And he is actually in custody at the Grizzly Police Station, also awaiting charges. So once these 2 other individuals have been charged, we will give you an update so that you can know what's going on. Now, just to tally up, in this last week, we've had 26 new arrests for persons violating the curfew order, and that brings our total in 2 weeks to 56 individuals having been arrested for various violations in that period.
Opposition Senator Joachim Henry has reflected on some of the criticism leveled against those who participated in the distribution of NEMO relief packages. He believes greater support and appreciation must be shown to those who volunteered their time to the initiative.
As he denounced the blame currently being directed at disaster committee volunteers who facilitated the distribution of social relief packages, Opposition Senator Joachim Henry urged the public to instead celebrate the selflessness continuously practiced by local volunteers. He says the brave men and women who took to themselves to offer their time and transport resources for the greater good of the population should not be blamed for systematic failures, which likely resulted from poor distribution mapping.
We need to thank those persons who have volunteered their support in the various disaster committees throughout St. Lucia. These are volunteers. These people are not working for a salary. They use their vehicle, their fuel, and they do not even get any kind of rebate for that. So first and foremost, we need to thank them, and every year our level of preparedness for a disaster depends on how prepared those volunteers.
Responding to comments made by Castries Southeast MP Guy Joseph, Henry says it is displeasing for political leaders to complain about having to complete mundane tasks after preaching community interest on a political platform. Henry urges the minister to visit the survey of living conditions to better equip himself with the necessary information to direct relief efforts in his constituency.
To make that statement was really unfortunate by the minister. The other thing is the minister has been a parliamentarian for 15 years. If he consult the survey of living condition, he would have an idea as to the total. There's 25% of our population below poverty, is about 44,000 people. Of course, he knows the population of persons in Castries Southeast. He can study the survey of living condition and know exactly, have a good idea as to who are vulnerable, who are not.
Henry hopes the faults identified in this response effort will be considered when shaping future relief distribution plans. For 7 News, I am Jacques Wooding.
Senator Fortuna Belrose has added her vote for the extension of the state of emergency. Senator Belrose says the battle with COVID-19 is still in its beginning stage and the government needs the powers to continue assessing and making the right decisions to protect St. Lucia. Genevieve Gonzague reports.
Government Senator Fortuna Belrose has indicated full support for the motion to extend the state of emergency on St. Lucia to May 31st. Belrose indicated that the effects of COVID-19 will forever be ingrained in the minds of all St. Lucians.
I think it will be remiss of me if I didn't add my voice to the debate at hand. And just to say that I very much support this motion. And of course, in supporting the motion, I think we've all come to recognize that COVID-19 has really created an indelible mark, on our country.
The senator says the issues being faced with COVID-19 have been very complex. However, it provided for a period of clarity and reflection. Senator Belrose indicated that an extension in the state of emergency will allow the government to continuously assess the effects of COVID-19 as the battle has only just begun.
We need the state of emergency because it allows us to continuously assess where we are as a people, you understand, and make the right choices and decisions with respect to us going forward with COVID, because we have not seen the worst yet. I think we only at the beginning.
Belrose says thus far, a fantastic job has been done with the management of COVID-19. While lessons have to be learned, the government must be lauded. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. There's more coming up after the break.